Hey, welcome everyone to the Friday series called Letting Your Light Shine, 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 Shine. Based on Matthew 5 verses 15 and 16, where Jesus commands us to shine our light before people so they may see our good works and may glorify our Father in the heavens. In this video series, I highlight only good news, such as random acts of kindness, as well as humorous, educational, and inspirational thoughts to help keep everyone encouraged during these trying times. So, let's start with some good news. In 1998, British adventurer Carl Bushby looked down a road in Chile and set an audacious goal: walk all the way home to Hull, England, without using a single form of transport. What he didn't know then was that the journey he thought would take 8 years would stretch into a remarkable 27-year odyssey spanning continents, oceans, and history itself. Now, after walking 36,000 miles, surviving polar bears, swimming across seas, and navigating countless visa setbacks, the 56-year-old ex-paratrooper is finally on the home stretch. Yay! Bushby began his adventure in Punta Arenas, Chile, trekking north through South and North America, eventually reaching Alaska. In 2006, he attempted one of the most dangerous legs of the journey, crossing the frozen Bering Strait into Siberia. Armed with a gun to scare off polar bears and forced to leap between moving blocks of ice, he achieved what few people on Earth have ever done. But his challenges didn't stop there. Bushby was detained in Russia for entering incorrectly and banned for 5 years. Sponsorships dried up during the 2008 financial crisis. The pandemic halted his progress. Visa issues left him stuck in Mexico for years, but he refused to quit. Last year, when he couldn't safely travel through Iran or Russia, he took on a new challenge: swimming across the Caspian Sea. With a support team and co-swimmer, Angela Maxwell, Bushby spent 31 days completing the 179-mile crossing, swimming a total of 132 hours. After reaching Azerbaijan, he continued through Turkey and now stands less than 2,000 miles from home. He hopes to re-enter Europe this summer and walk into Hull, England by September 2026. Bushby told the BBC, "It's been extremely difficult, but we've always stuck to our guns and never been willing to compromise on the route." He does admit that returning home after nearly 3 decades will feel surreal. When he left, he was 29. He will return at 58. He says reuniting with family will mean getting to know each other again. And I hope they're still there. Bushby walks an average of 30 kilometers a day, so that's roughly like 20 miles, and rests wherever he can find shelter. His mission, called the Goliath Expedition, has outlasted 5 UK prime ministers, a global pandemic, and numerous wars, but his spirit remains as strong as it was in 1998. And the world is cheering him on as he enters the final chapter of one of the most extraordinary human endurance journeys ever attempted. Wow. And now to our fun fact of the week. Did you know that Hanna-Barbera pitched the Flintstones cartoon to networks for 8 weeks before it was finally picked up? And then it became the first ever animated show to air during prime time. Pretty cool. I used to watch it. Now here's our riddle of the week. Think hard and don't cheat. What can be seen in the middle of March and April that can't be seen at the beginning or end of either month? And the answer is the letter R. Gotcha. This leads to our random acts of kindness. Hundreds of seniors across the Mid-Island region of British Columbia received handwritten Christmas cards this past year, a small gesture that has become a powerful tradition thanks to the compassion of one woman and an army of volunteers. The project began in 2020 when Christiana Conway worried about seniors who were isolated during the pandemic. That first Christmas, she, her husband, and a close friend sat down to write cards for a few nearby care homes. The idea was simple, but the impact was huge. Christiana said it was that first Christmas and everyone was talking about how lonely, especially seniors, would be. We thought we'd write some cards and drop them in, and it just grew from there. But grew is an understatement. The first year brought in more than 300 cards. 5 years later, the effort had delivered close to 3,000 cards with nearly 100 volunteers now taking part through Oceanside Community Church and the surrounding community. This year, Christiana originally aimed for around 800 cards, enough to cover about a dozen care homes and palliative care unit. But the response overwhelmed even her expectations. She added, with so much help, we'll pass the 1,000 mark for the first time. That means we can also send cards to several local crisis support, social housing, and disability programs. Cards will reach seniors and vulnerable residents in Parksville, Qualicum Beach, Port Alberni, and Nanaimo, including dementia units and palliative care. The need is very real. One care home manager recently told her that due to a Canada Post strike, they weren't sure if residents would receive any Christmas cards this year. But Christiana said, at least they'll be getting one card from us. It's so easy, but it can truly make a difference. Over the years, Christiana has received emotional messages from care homes about how deeply residents are touched by the cards. She said some even cried because it meant so much to them that someone out there cared. I get very excited thinking about the people who receive the cards, knowing it may be the only one they get. For Christiana, honoring seniors is personal, saying it's so important to think of our elders and remember that someday we will be in their shoes. Behind the scenes, the project takes months of planning. By mid-October, Christiana is already emailing care homes, gathering resident numbers, purchasing materials, assembling card writing packets, and coordinating volunteer drop-offs. And many volunteers turn the card writing into a community moment, inviting friends, family, neighbors, and even children to help. Christiana said even before the cards reach the care homes, they've helped strengthen and connect our community. My favorite part is when people get their kids involved. Once my son is a little older, I want him to be part of it too. Now, Christiana welcomes anyone who wants to help. No minimum, no requirements, just willing hands and willing hearts. For Christiana, this project is more than a holiday tradition. It's a reminder of the power of simple kindness. She added, I'm so grateful to everyone who shows up year after year. It really does make a difference. And now here's our 7 inspirational thoughts for the week ahead. These are all from Rabindranath Tagore. What a name. All right, number 1. You can't cross the sea merely by standing and staring at the water. Number 2. Don't limit your children to your own learning, for they are born in another time. Number 3. Depth of friendship does not depend on length of acquaintance. Number 4. Faith is the one that feels the light when the dawn is still dark. Number 5. I slept and dreamt that life was a joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. Number 6. I like that one. Death is not extinguishing the light. It is only putting out the lamp because the dawn has come. And finally, number 7. Love is the only reality, and it is not a mere sentiment. It is the ultimate truth that lies at the heart of creation. And that brings us to the best news of all, the good news of Jesus Christ. So here's our Bible verses of the week from Psalm 21:13 and Colossians 1, verses 9 through 14. Be exalted in your strength, O Yahweh. We will sing and praise your might. And we are also not ceasing praying and asking that all your people may be filled with the knowledge of your will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, to walk worthily of you, O Lord, and to all willing servants with every good work, bearing fruit and growing in the knowledge of God, being strengthened with all power according to your glorious might, into all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to you, our Father, the one having made us sufficient for the share of the inheritance of the holy ones in the light, who has delivered us from the authority of darkness and transferred us into the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sins. I want to thank everyone for watching and remind you to let your light shine in whatever way you can. I hope this series helps everyone stay encouraged at all times. And please join me Sunday morning as we continue our series on the parables of Jesus, as well as Tuesday afternoon for our Bible study called Talking About Jesus, where we're continuing our series on miracles in Scripture. I truly hope you'll join us for both of those. And now, may God bless you and keep you, and may his glorious light shine upon you. Have a great week, my friends. See you next time.